Hello again, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 and the final episode of this SD Times live micro webinar series looking at service virtualization in testing. If you didn't join us for the first two, to recap, episode 1, we talked about bridging testing gaps with service virtualization. And in episode 2, we talked about overcoming test data challenges for efficient testing and started to briefly touch on the topic of automation, which we'll dive into more deeply in this episode, where we'll be looking at automating your CI/CD in testing and how that would work. With us again is Steve Filoni. He's the Vice President of Continuous Testing Products at Perforce. Stephen, thanks for being with us again.
Thank you for having me yet again.
Yeah. Okay. So modernizing the testing strategy is crucial, obviously, for staying afloat in this competitive digital landscape that we're in. So you can unlock the ability to test faster and more broadly by automating CI/CD in testing. So let me just start off by asking you, so what are the key business benefits that can be expected from investing in CI/CD test automation?
Well, I mean, I'll just say it seems obvious, but I'll answer it anyway. Is well, you're testing all the time, or I mean, as CI/CD, continuous
Right.
integration, continuous delivery. You're testing all the time. Every time a build is done, you are continuously testing. And when we're saying automate your testing, I'm sure most people who are listening are like, well, we already do CI/CD. Clearly, by definition, it's automated. Yes, but how much are you really automating? I bet you most people that are listening, when they have a CI/CD process, they are testing happy path, happy path testing. And you're not doing performance testing. You're not doing security testing. You're not doing accessibility testing. There's so many other tests that you need to automate as part of that CI/CD process, not just functional happy path. So when we say automate in your CI/CD process, you want to do it all. And so why? Because the benefit is you are going to have a much higher quality product that you can get out the door faster.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot shift left if you don't use the CI/CD process.
Right.
Just like I think it was the first episode, I remember, you can't shift left if you don't use service virtualization. You cannot shift left if you don't have a CI/CD process. And so you cannot shift left if you do not automate. Now, people will argue, oh, well, I shift left. All right, you can't shift left correctly if you don't use those pieces, right? People can say they do a lot of things, but you can't do it right if you don't have those pieces. And so you don't want to have to manually hit a button to run an automated test, and you don't want to do manual testing for everything. So you want to find the problems as quickly as possible. We've been saying this for the last 30 years. The earlier you find a bug, the cheaper it is to fix.
Yep.
The earlier you find a bug, the faster it is to fix. And when you're trying to release either daily, weekly, monthly, I mean, the earlier you find a bug, the faster you can get your product out the door. And the faster you get the product out the door, the faster you can realize the benefits of whatever those benefits are. Getting more users, making more money, keeping your customer base, whatever your reason is for releasing, you'll realize those benefits faster.
Right. So this is interesting. I mean, as you said, it seems fairly obvious the benefits of doing this and faster testing, continuous testing, faster time to market. Yet there still seems to be some resistance in certain corners because not everybody is doing this. So
No.
what is the holdup? Why are they not getting on board?
Well, I wish I had a slide for this, but go with me. There's this cartoon. I'm sure everyone's seen this cartoon. There's a guy pushing a cart with square wheels, and he's trying to get to market. And this guy's walking right by him with a round wheel. And he's like, well, would you like to change your square wheels for the round wheel? Oh, I don't have time. I got to get this to market. I can't stop. Right?
Right.
And that's really the problem is people are used to doing things one way. And that one way is a challenge for them. And they do not want to stop, pause, and learn something new. Because learning something new takes time. And it's perceived that that time is a waste of time, which is completely incorrect.
Right.
Yes, it will probably cause slowness initially, but you will gain so much by doing it. But this is not just for CI/CD. This is for everything. Using virtual services, that's a new way. That's a thought process change.
Mhm.
Getting the right data sets and using virtual databases, that's a change.
Right.
Using CI/CD, that's a change. All these things are changes to people, and people a lot of times are resistant to change.
Yeah, I think a lot of organizations think that it's a waste of time because very often they just don't implement it correctly, or they don't understand how to implement it, or they think it's going to take people off of a job that they need right now and they don't have time to deal with that. So how do
Right.
organizations?
And I've heard I don't really have a problem with what I'm doing today. So why do I have to change?
Right, right. So for people who are trying to implement this automation, and so what are some of the pitfalls that you see from customers trying to implement who may be struggling?
Well, in the initial implementations, I would say one of the biggest challenges I've seen, well, maybe there's two. One, there's a mandate that comes from above. So God mandates everyone needs to do this. So then across the board, every single organization, every single line of business, every single thing, all tries to change at the same time.
Hmm.
Well, that's going to suck.
Right.
And so then once you even have a few of the lines of business complain, then all of a sudden it's an anarchy mess. So pick one at a time. Pick a business unit that you believe is going to be successful, that really wants to do it, and have them go for it. And then when they're that one business unit that you have working on it, don't try to put everything in the CI/CD process. Wait, Steve, but you just said accessibility, performance. Yes, you eventually want to get to everything, but try something small. Add some that positive functions, that happy path. Add that to that CI/CD process. Get that working. Don't ever stop there, but get that working. Show the success, and then broadcast that success to the next business unit, to the next business unit, and get the growing. And then add the performance testing, the security testing, one at a time. Get those successful, and then broadcast that success. But don't ever try to do it all at once. I don't know if we have time, but I'm going to give this one little quick story.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm at a bank. This was a few years ago. It wasn't a bank, actually; it was a financial institution. But who cares? Story's still funny. And I'm in this meeting, and they're all proud of themselves. They're like, "We, God Almighty up above, has mandated we got rid of all of our QA. You got rid of all your QA? Yep. Developers are doing all the testing." I'm like, "Wow, okay, okay." And now we're going out the door so much faster. They said the QA was the bottleneck. We've proven QA is the bottleneck, and we're getting out the door faster. And they were so proud of this. And I just sat there and I said, "So your releases now suck, don't they?" Their mouths dropped. "Yeah, we've been having a lot of problems with those releases."
Yeah.
They're like, "How did you know?" Be- because you did it all at once. You didn't enable the developers. You didn't give them the right tools. You didn't give them the right training. You didn't federate your testers to go into those agile teams. The people that knew what they were doing, you got rid of. Like there was no way it wasn't going to fail. So don't do it all at once. Do it in little steps. And those little steps may take you a month, maybe take you 2 months, it depends on the organization. Do it in little steps, and you will see the success.
Mhm. All right. So, as you said, we are bumping up against time, but I want to give you an opportunity here maybe to do a quick summation of the series, in case, the key takeaways that people should have after listening to this.
Sure. Key takeaways. If you're not already very successful in a shift left, and yeah, there may be a business unit that's successful, but if your company is not successful in a shift left world, in an agile world, then what you want to do is you want to look at a few things. You want to automate. You want to automate as much as you can. So your regression suite, automate it. In order to do this, you need virtual services. There's no question you need it. You need to do negative testing. Virtual services helps with that. You need to have a strong handle on your test data that can get refreshed, test data that you can share with your developers, test data and test environments that can be more ephemeral. And then finally, all of that you want to put into a CI/CD process so that your testing can be continuous, not just in one shot. Every build, everything is being tested, being regression tested as you go through the process. So it is all about automation. It is all about getting out the door faster with higher quality. It's not just about the testing tool itself, but it's about everything around that testing tool. The test data, the virtual services, the CI/CD, those aren't testing tools. Those are around your testing tools. So you need to have a complete set of tools to help be successful when you're releasing.
That's great. All right, Stephen Filoni, Vice President of Continuous Testing Products at Perforce. Thanks for doing this series with us. I think it's been great. I think it's going to be very informative to our audience. So thanks for being with us.
I've had fun. Thank you very much.
All right. And thank you, all our listeners and viewers, for hanging in there with us. All of these episodes will be available, as I said, on sdtimes.com for on-demand viewing. So until next time, once again, Dave Rubenstein, Editor-in-Chief of SD Times. Till next time, so long for now.